Hey guys, welcome back to Spin Circle with me, your host Tony Giles TG, aka the Vinyl Ambassador, and today we're doing part 2 of our look at the Castlevania on Vinyl series. When I left you last, I'd spoken about the first 3 entries in the Castlevania series and even touched on the Kid Dracula spin-off. And today we're starting off with a bang because we have Super Castlevania 4. Castlevania's debut on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and boy howdy, this game is nothing short of fantastic. This redefined the awesomeness of Castlevania. You could do so many different things that you could never do before. The game had tons of mode 7, lots of background action going on, rolling screens. You could whip in different directions. It was just a total game changer. And the music itself, once again by the Konami Kukeiha Club, is absolutely spot on. This was released by, once again, Mondo, who did a killer job on all of their releases. And on the inside, once again, you see the map there. This one split over 2 discs, and this one is a full score. Let's take a look right here. This is kind of like a silver vinyl with blood splatter, I believe it is. Whenever these went up for sale, I instantly jumped on them because this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, video game series of all time. And the music in these games is just absolutely legendary. It is so good and so influential in so many other games. That's disc A and B. And there you go, that disc C. Oh, disc 2 is side C. And side B, you've got the silver, the whip silver with blood splatter there. And then Castlevania would take a little bit of a detour for its next adventure. Castlevania's next outing on the Super Nintendo system would be Castlevania X, which was actually a remake, or some might say a demake, of the classic PC Engine game Rondo of Blood, widely regarded as the greatest Castlevania game of all time. And having played both, I know which one is my favorite. This release once again came from Mondo, and this was a limited edition, once again I believe at the San Diego Comic-Con. And what's cool about this is one disc is dedicated to Rondo of Blood, but if you flip it over, you have the soundtrack for Dracula Castlevania X, which is just so cool. So there you go, Dracula X on one side, Rondo of Blood on the other. Now Rondo of Blood, it being on the PC Engine, on the TurboGrafx 16, wasn't really available to many folks outside of Japan. And so the game was actually remade, or revamped, you could say, for the PSP as the Dracula Chronicles. So if you do actually have any interest in playing the game, you can. But what we have here, this is this is Rondo of Blood, and this is on a red and black theme, which is very neat. I do like me a split color when they sound good. And this one sounds great. The score for Rondo of Blood is absolutely fantastic. And the score for Dracula X is very good too, but I am a Rondo of Blood loyalist. I'm sorry, but I just am. I remember first discovering the game through a buddy of mine and was just absolutely blown away because it was largely an unknown game to me, an unknown entry into the Castlevania series. And when I finally played it, mind blown. Now, while I am covering quite a large portion of the Castlevania scores released on vinyl, I'm not actually covering all of them because I don't own all of them. Unfortunately, some of them were released in very limited quantities and they are just astronomically expensive. Once again, proving how big the fandom is for this series. People love Castlevania, they love the music, and they want every piece of it. But I do know that Materia are actually releasing, I believe it's a 46 LP box set that I believe encompasses everything. So that is definitely something I am keeping my eye on. But now we're moving on to the ultimate, in my opinion, Castlevania game, and the score that is just This is next level. You ask most video game fans what their favorite score is, I guarantee at least 50% of them will probably say this game. I'm talking about Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Castlevania made its debut on the Sony PlayStation, but this game wasn't a 3D action game like we were expecting. No, this was a good old-fashioned 2D Metroidvania, unlike we'd ever seen before. And some people dismissed it. Some people at the time were not interested in this game, overlooking it for the more 3D oriented material out there. And unfortunately, an original version of Symphony of the Night, one that does include the original soundtrack on CD, it now goes for about £500, which is an insane number for an original copy. But you can play Symphony of the Night very, very easily in this day and age. This right here is the score of all scores when it comes to Castlevania, as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely 100% beautiful. Once again, by the Konami Kukiha Club. I wish I could pronounce that properly. If anyone out there knows how to say it properly, do let me know. This is just next level. The packaging on this, the spot gloss, everything. Alucard, Richter, Maria, Dracula himself. This is absolutely gorgeous packaging. And the version I have here, this was, or is, a limited edition version of this. I'm not sure how many copies of there were, but this is a tricolor vinyl disc, gold, white, and black, as you can see there, which is kind of the color scheme of the game itself. If you've never heard this score, do your best to go and grab a listen, because it is symphonic and it is dynamic, and obviously moving from a cartridge to a CD, you could do so much more, and they did. They really, really did. This is just, once you've heard this, it is unforgettable. And it is streaming on most music sites now. So if you want to take a listen, go and get yourself some Symphony of the Night, my friends. You will not be disappointed. And since Symphony of the Night, Castlevania has carried on strong. At least it had up until maybe a decade ago, and it's kind of been a little bit quiet since then. We've had a few compendium releases. The Game Boy Advance games have seen some new life, and the original Castlevania Classic Collection has also seen new life, available now on Steam and Nintendo, PlayStation, wherever you play your games. But one of the games that unfortunately is just no longer available and is only playable if you actually purchased it at the time is Castlevania The Rebirth, which was available on the Nintendo Wii system. And this was a downloadable game. You couldn't even purchase this in stores. This was a downloadable from the Nintendo, I think it's WiiWare is what it was called. And essentially what this game is it's kind of like a reimagining of the first game. Updated graphics, updated music. It looks fantastic. I've only ever seen it on YouTube as a playthrough. I've never actually played it myself, but I do have the score for it because it is absolutely fantastic. This one was released by Ship to Shore once again. Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth. And this one comes with a pretty killer 12x12 insert with some liner notes here by Jeremy Parish, who is an expert on the Castlevania series. And this one came a few different ways, but I have it on gorgeous crystal clear vinyl. And it's very cool when you see this spinning, because you can see the cross spinning or the axe, which is cool because it's much like the video game itself. Now, I would love to follow on and do a part 3 and a part 4 of this. So if you have enjoyed this video, taking a look at the Castlevania on vinyl scores I own, do let me and everyone else know in the comments down below. But that's it for now, so I'll say thank you once again. Remember, if you would like to catch up with all my vinyl antics, you can find me on the Memphis Record Pressing YouTube channel, Saturdays at 6. When you think vinyl, think Memphis.